What is up, you guys? Nate from the 80/20 Drummer back after another hiatus. I mean, at this point, do you guys have any doubt that I'm eventually going to be back? So a little worse for wear this week too, because I had a little bit of a stomach bug, and because I know you guys are fascinated by Nate's personal issues. Let's dig deep, right? Let's get into everything that happened to Nate. But also a wee little allergy thing, and it's gotten to the point where it's like, I'm going to the doctor just because I have to renew my prescription, but it's not even like the shot helps. It's a steroid shot, so I mainly just get it before I go to the gym. I feel like a god for one day. Anyway, dudes, today I promise your patience with my long exposition will be rewarded. Today we're going to talk about some ways to play around with and to sound flashing and do some fancy shit over what I like to call the Everybody Wants to Rule the World shuffle, which is just a sort of 12/8, 3, 4. And we're gonna first look at a fill that I kind of just worked out and a few variations of that. Then we're gonna look at a beat, and hopefully if we have time at the end before that thing conks out, maybe even after, we're gonna look at a concept. So, in no particular order, the fill goes something like this. 3, 4. Okay, so very first, astute viewers may have noticed that at some points I'm throwing in an extra snare beat, and at some points I'm relegating that to the hats. We'll talk about that in a hot second. We'll talk about it. I keep doing this South African thing, bro. It's a recurring theme in a number of my lessons. At what point does this stop being a channel about the drums and just start being a deep dive into my psyche? Okay, the licks slowly. 3 und 4 and That's a great exercise in playing it clean. So I'll talk about the root kernel of that lick and where that came from in a second, but let's talk about this variation. 3, 4. So this part, you can either throw a hat note or a snare note. So it's what I like to call hemiolized version of just this. 3, 4. So that's in a 2-bar pattern that repeats, and the thing about the hemiolized is that it's 2 3-beat phrases and a 2-beat phrase, or 2 6-beat phrases and a 4-beat phrase. So it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, or 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4. So again, we go back to the 3 4. But we take that and we make it 2 instances of 3 beats and 1 instance of 2, so it sounds hipper. So 3, 4. Okay, so variations we can do with this. One thing is you can throw the floor tom in, so you can do that sort of thing. So 3, 4. etc. So yes, that's your lick to play over the top of it. So now a beat to open up your playing. In this sort of 12/8 thing, we want to get away from. So I'm doing a halftime-ish thing and I'm doing an open thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So a few spots for variations, but first let's play it slowly and work on getting it really clean. Of course, all of these playing clean things that I talk about in the course, hint, hint. So slowly. 3, 4. Right? Maybe try it a little softer. Etc. So spots that you can do variation are by adding drags, either a right, right, left, or a left, left, right. That's a drag. Or you can do a hand to hand. So in other words, it sounds like a drag, but it's a single. So what does that sound like? Let me improvise a little bit around this beat. So 3, 4. So another hip thing is when you complete that with the kick. So, right? So you put a drag, but then you fill in the last 16th or tripletized 16th or whatever you want to call it. First order incepted tripletized 16th. I think we need to bring inception vocabulary into drum rudiments. So I like that one. It changes to sticking around, but you can experiment. Another thing that's very Dana Hawkins would be open the hats. So right. So that's your beat. You could practice going from kind of a standard backbeat shuffle to that without speeding up or slowing down. And most of this stuff, as you guys know, I'm like a broken record, but you want to practice it with a metronome. I'll get into that in a second, but you know. Etc. Okay, so lastly, our free association exercise. And by the way, one thing that I emphasize in the course is I'll teach you licks, I'll teach you beats, and then I'll teach you frameworks to start improvising with them on your own, because most instructional material leaves off at the written down licks. So you're like following along, you get to the last page. Oh, sorry, now you're on your own. You just need to improvise. It's like, whoa, how come no one can fucking improvise? Well, big mystery, right? I sound like a crackpot. I recommend always running out of words, like right when you get to your point. Okay, so concept is literally we're just playing in 12/8. Only rules are all the grace notes have to be on the hats, and we're playing completely open, and anytime we touch the snare drum, it has to be a rim shot. And let's say we're only playing 8s. And since we're thinking 12/8, the 1, 2, 3, 4 pulse is 8s and not triplets. If this were 4/4, it would be triplets. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Choose your poison. But we're going to improvise with this framework. And let's do that now. 2, 3, 4. So literally anything goes, sticking wise, dynamics wise. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding those 16thized doubles. And again, if this is real 12/8, they're actual real 16ths within the framework of those groups of 3/8. If it's 4/4, then they're first order incepted tripletized 16ths, or however you want to. I bet there's a real word for those. That notwithstanding, demonstration. Okay, so that's your lesson of the week. Go train! Inside joke. Okay guys, so hope you've enjoyed this week's lesson. For longtime fans of the show, this will be like a broken record, but something you still need to hear. But for newcomers, I want to let you know that if you dig the concept in this lesson, I invite you to take a deep dive, watch the next suggested video on YouTube. Been doing this for a few years, so there's quite a backlog. Watch some of the popular ones. But when you feel like maybe you're ready to go a layer deeper, if you think maybe you trust me enough to study with me, I recommend checking out my product, the 80/20 coaching course, which is like 6 to 9 months of studying with me, completely transcribed, high resolution video, all on a personalized, gamified website. I don't have anything to present yet. Not yet on the graphic. I just jumped the gun, sorry. All for around the price of 1 to 2 lessons. And if you'd like a gateway drug to that, completely free, but in the more structured manner that you're going to see within the coaching course. Now we have the graphic. Oh, the graphic! I recommend checking out my 3 videos in 3 weeks, 3 free videos that'll improve your playing more in the next 3 weeks than you have in the last 6 months. Dudes, as always, it's been real. I'd like to thank my sponsors. No, just kidding. One love.